Okay, The Return of the Living Dead. This, of course, is the absolute classic, fantastically done zombie movie. Ironically, I've never seen it. I watched documentaries on it going, I think I've seen this movie. And I realized that I hadn't. Technically, it is a sequel to Night of the Living Dead because they do make reference to it. This one, of course, having come out in the 80s, does very much have an 80s feel to it. However, the practical effects in this movie are so ridiculously good. With the exception, of course, for the very, very first zombie-like thing they show, which is like a giant kind of yellowed man. That one's not done very well. But, like the dripping man or the gooping man, however they want to refer to him as, the first one to say brains, that's a beautiful costume. From like the half-formed woman that they're talking to, who they actually get the dialogue from is, why are you doing this? Stuff with the pain of being dead. This is a wonderfully done movie. Ironically, looking back that this movie was done with all practical effects and had some people who did some solid acting, even though when you look at it, the fashion and lots of the dialogue is entirely 80s. It's like the 80s in a horror film that's got comedy, that's got action. And when people are making the transition from human to zombies, it's done really, really well. The crux of it being these two tanks mysteriously show up at a medical supply company. Someone's like, what? It's military grade there. Taps it, springs a leak. Springs a leak, it releases some of the gas, which slowly turns those two into zombies over the course of like an hour and 10 minutes. It's a really slow transition. It also releases one of the zombies. The gas, of course, animates other things inside their warehouse. So they then begin to hack up one of the corpses that they got, and it's not dying. They then decide to cremate it, therefore turning what was a small contained problem into the smokestacks, gets dispersed, goes into the air, very much like acid rain, goes back down, so now you have a more kind of diluted version of the serum that created the initial zombies going into the ground and bringing all the dead up. So now you've got a massive amount of undead. And when characters die in this, they've got enough development that their deaths actually feel like they mean something. There's a scene where a zombie eats a paramedic. These aren't the entirely, they actually make words. This one grabs a whole little communicator. It's like, we need more paramedics. Because they're hungry and paramedics will show up and they're pretty easy prey. Same thing happens when they attack a cop car. Somebody gets on the horn and is like, we need more cops. So it's kind of like placing an order for takeout. If you're a fan of zombie films, you've probably already seen this one. And by all means, this is probably one of the best movies you will probably see when it comes to a zombie film. And that is Return of the Living Dead.